The arena of Beijing lights up as game one is owned by RNG. A dominant showing, a dominant force into EDG in our match of the week. That's how the story goes in game one. It's Derek's Raz, my good sir.
So you saw the RNG venue out there, at least the outside of it. You see that huge TV that showcases the games to the crowd outside. That's the favorite actually part of the entire venue.
Yeah.
Coming into it, you get to see a huge square. It's a pretty damn good locale that's right next to the Cadillac Arena, which is a huge stadium that showcases a lot of, you know, it showcased the LPL finals alongside a lot of concerts. So the fact that League of Legends was basically being televised to a lot of people, old people too, that are like, what the hell is this? It's real fun just being able to have that intersplice with life. So I'm a big fan of it. Good stuff being able to have those kind of venues out there across China, especially when you're winning. And RNG is currently taking a lot of wins.
A lot of cool showing out from the audience here, and especially in game one where Ming was our MVP. And, let's talk Meiko, rather Yuumi, excuse me, as this man did well.
Yes, because we talked about who my top 2 MVPs for this game is. It was certainly Ming. It was number 1, the Olaf, number 2, Ming. And I even said that Yuumis don't get a lot of love.
Yeah.
And guess what happened?
He got love.
He got love. So, I mean, Ming put in a lot of great work. In my eyes, he is the best support right now in the LPL. And on a global level, he's been able to get the job done. And so the great strategy between him and Karsa, a lot of these replays will just essentially be that.
Just the Yuumi Olaf, which we talked about the combo being oppressive.
Yep, and you also see a lot of iBoy dying. This one was especially good because even though the Alistar just threw the, Rumble out of the way, who Yuumi was essentially on, he just got out immediately and said that I'm not going to take the knockback. I'm just still going to be able to nail down iBoy, and that happened multiple times. In fact, if you were to tell me this was a death clip from, replay from iBoy consistently, then
you'd believe it.
You'd believe it.
You would.
This was a 4v5 fight that ended up happening. Rumble finally got in with his own ultimate, but that just showcased how strong RNG was at that stage of the game, that there was no chance for EDG to come in. So great strategy coming in, great execution. Vision control was crucial. Otherwise, that was not going to work. But, I mean, they got the job done. And I hope we get to see something like that more in the future.
Yeah, me too. Let's look at one of the lanes though before we, go on, because Scout into the top lane matchup of Mordekaiser for EDG, that was their winning lane, that was their dominant lane, that was the person who had the most gold on the team.
Yep.
Yet it didn't transition. We didn't get to see EDG move forward any part of that game.
That was the definition of nullified. That was the poorest member dealing with the richest member, and then on side lanes, solo killing him. But that's how the matchup ends up going. He was able to take in a lot of that pressure, sustain through it, and though the CS was not good by any means, his team was succeeding out there in the back, and that's all really he needs to know.
Yeah.
I remember in one of the clips, I think it's called Royal Chat or something, essentially. It's their content pieces, which they throw out there of just their own mics. They send out the mics comms for their teams. Last time they said, hey, you know what? This is the first time when Langx was on the team, was saying, hey, you're playing the amazing J style, which is basically you're taking the weak side.
You're going to take all the flack, yeah.
Well, exactly. You're not going to be getting any of the resources. You're just going to try and do the best you can with the situation you're given.
Yep.
And he did exactly that this game.
Yeah, constantly plays weak side and looks good coming out the other end. So I'm glad to see that that we actually saw Langx in the best of when he received absolutely nothing that game.
Yeah, so well played for him. I think a lot of that kind of has to do with the draft initially. I think what we saw from the team, from EDG, I was happy with the Azir if it was placed into the mid lane. Yeah. I wasn't happy with the Camille because it made this composition all out of sorts in the end. Yeah. If he was placed in the mid lane, he'd be losing shove. If he was placed in the top lane, he would be losing shove and damage. If he was in any of those 2 matchups, he's losing out and hoping that he gets a gank. But who's there to gank for him? Yeah. The Karthus? Is it the Karthus who's supposed to get you out of that position? He was just going to be in a losing situation, hoping and gambling for the best. And I'm never a fan of that. I didn't like it when he did it on LGD. Wasn't a fan when it happened on Victory 5. So I would like to see a more unison approach from the team. That if you're going to be having Azir in the mid lane, or at least in the top lane, whatever matchup it is, just pick something that makes a lot more sense for that one. And that's the only issue I had.
Fair enough. I was looking through, mirrored glass, or what is it called? Rose pane glass, where I saw an EDG 10-15 minutes in that game, and I saw it possible for them to come back. Of course, composition suits, but in that series, or that game specifically, RNG if they slowed down, they were unable to.
They would
keep
have
going.
to lose successive fights after fights for
Yes.
them to actually be at an even state with how far
That's
behind Ezreal was in that game, in my opinion. A lot of that actually was, and also compositionally, RNG was online pretty early on. Uzi got to his item break points, like triple items, including the Essence Reaver and Infinity Edge, so early that I felt like EDG really did need a miracle to come back in. There were a few of them was happening. And one of those miracles was named Xiaohu.
Yeah.
With that one kill that was gifted while they had, super minions coming through on bot and mid. So that's the only thing I'll say that, once again, compositionally, those are my issues. And something that doesn't matter, but you have to make a point of it, is Karsa's coming back with his glasses.
Yeah.
I think he had contacts last one, or maybe he just was rolling with no glasses, but this time around coming back and saying, no, I need them.
See, I don't remember. I always see Karsa with glasses. So it's Karsa with glasses. Wow. I didn't know that was going to be so hard.
Australians in enunciation. What can I
Karsa
say?
on Karthus, though. Wow. Okay.
Oh, that's true.
That would be cool.
Look, I just hope that he never, Kaisa never becomes a jungle champion. Because then it's going to be Karsa playing Kaisa. That's
Ooh.
actually not that bad. But if you're doing a team fight, then that's an issue.
I mean, it's issue enough if Uzi picks up Kaisa. He picks up Karthus.
And he's Karsa.
Yeah.
That's fair. Feel bad for you.
Team fight's going to be bad, man. Feel real bad, but I was
Guess whose team fights are equally as bad?
Whose?
EDG's. Yes.
Why is that?
Well, they just lost through successive team fights.
Oh, right, no.
That's literally the joke.
I'm like, Jiejie doesn't rhyme with anything. I'm thinking outside the box, Raz. But,
Maybe too far outside that box. We're in a separate galaxy.
Yeah. You are right, though, and especially looking towards Jiejie, who's going up into Karsa. The Karthus in game one, the approach was, as always, pick off that ult, get something out of it, and that was never really the case.
Yeah, at least once it happened when they set up within an all-in bot side, but you know what happened, right? The Rumble comes in on a roam alongside the Olaf. It was a story of great ideas happened,
Yeah.
but there was an equally better response there from RNG. We saw that in the earlier series with how Suning was able to handle Rogue Warriors, and you're seeing that and then some coming in with RNG. So while I talked about the draft, that's something that EDG can help out and change. But certainly RNG's execution in this game was working out really well.
Really high hopes here. And quick look at the bottom lane of both EDG and RNG. And iBoy, I want something better in game two. I mean, do they change around from the Ezreal, from the safer lane with the Alistar, and go on the aggressive? Return to something like the Kaisa.
Yeah, I feel like that one was mostly execution, right? I agree in the sense that picking a different champion would help him out a little bit more, but that was more so him just individually playing the worst I've seen him play. He made the most ridiculous decisions, and some of them weren't even decisions. His hands just moved without his brain. So that happens.
Happens to the best of us.
Happens. Let's see how it gets better coming into this game.
EDG on blue, RNG red. And they're on match point, so let's see how it shifts, because Mordekaiser is the first ban away from RNG.
If you're Langx, you're having the deepest grin at the moment.
And the Rumble ban.
Yeah, let's just take away the entire composition from RNG.
Let's see, Olaf
Let's
will
match
come
you
up
with
next.
an Olaf, yes. All 3 picks. I need to see it happen.
Well, RNG got rid of the Tahm Kench. It seems like it's standard meta ban. Karma away from EDG.
This is not a knee jerk. This is more like your knees being taken off.
Yeah.
Completely just blowing your knee out.
That or the Yuumi, unless Meiko wants to pick it up first.
No one suspects the cat.
Either way, EDG set themselves up nicely and giving themselves as much time as possible, because breakdown backstage. Yep,
we got the full bands, baby.
So what do you do now if you're
It wasn't RNG that beat us. It was these champions that beat us.
That's right.
The classic tilt. You go into the back and you say, okay, guys, let's play better. How about we draft better? That's the response. Full mutiny in the team.
Likes the final ban here from RNG.
I cannot believe the 3 bans that have just happened here.
You're taking away number 4. That's the Yuumi.
And the MVP still got his pick.
Yeah.
They didn't expect the cat.
So what do RNG pick up? What else do they have left?
I mean, if I'm RNG, certainly I look towards a Kaisa.
Sivir's still there.
Now. Yeah, you're right. But you would want to deny the Sivir lane. I'd maybe go, wow, this is hard. This is tough. Personally, I would always go towards a Jarvan pickup. Go Jarvan Sivir. You're right on the Sivir point. But
Wow.
a Sejuani actually enables your solo laners a little bit more, especially with the Irelia still up and available.
We've stopped seeing the Sejuani, and big reason because of the Sylas that's just come into popularity. So let's see if EDG opt in for the counter matchup, the most popular one of them.
Yeah, but remember, a lot of it has come onto the fact that people have just been banning their bruisers in pick ban as well. And Sejuani is one of those champions that even if she doesn't get banned, her value lowers excessively with certain bruisers getting banned away as well.
Yeah.
And in this game, not only were they given the Irelia, the Renekton is still up. You can still see, like, okay, well, you know, I guess they're not getting that chance. EDG recognized that too.
That's good.
But yeah, RNG got their picks, and now EDG has gotten theirs as well. The Sylas has been the good counter, as you mentioned.
Remember what I said? Both Jinoo and Langx, great Irelia and Renekton players. So let's see if that goes into the matchup. You want to avoid the Renekton as much as possible.
Ooh.
Whoever's on it. Looks like another solo laner here for RNG and a Vladimir over to this team. That's great.
Vladimir over to the against the Renekton. That's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah.
I do like Vladimir in the longer lanes. He's definitely going to get shoved in, but in every matchup that you get to see in professional play, that's just the expectation. But yeah, I think right now you get to see what RNG's looking to do. It's going to be a lot about Xiaohu and Karsa this game, unsurprisingly. And it's going to have to be the pick of Scout that we look towards. I want to see what Scout gets in the second phase.
Already big team fighting here. I love it from RNG, but good to see Jinoo most likely return to this Renekton. Onto that second phase, however, in the Kalista away from iBoy. So the potential of a winning lane is getting lower.
I think an Akali pick would work nicely here for Scout.
Okay.
Akali works pretty damn good into the Irelia pick. I think it's a great pick into that lane. And also, I mean, if we're just talking about outright 2v2 skirmish alongside Sylas, that's a great 2v2. So I want to see what the response here from RNG. You see the Yasuo ban. That's a call out to say, is Uzi picking that Vladimir? Is that what's happening? So that's a challenge that's going through. And Uzi has practiced mages in the bottom lane. That has been a thing that's been going on. So we'll have to see. I mean, it also could just simply be a Yasuo being played by Uzi. So there's always that expectation, especially with a Yasuo 80 carry, actually in the RNG Academy team.
Yeah.
So we have seen that being played within the house of RNG. So let's see if that's where the fears really lie.
Catches on, yeah. Alistar goes with the Yasuo whole-handedly. So sad time, but the bottom lane now, we get a sneak peek of what it's going to be for RNG, because no Lucian, no Kalista. They've opted to take that away from iBoy. What does Uzi play? Vayne's still there, but it would be blind. No. Jungle time, or rather, support time.
Ming is the best Gragas support I've seen. So you got your great Gragas supports out there. The European fans currently watching will certainly say Mickey X. And you look into the LPL and you're looking at both Meiko and Ming. I know earlier on today you talked about a lot of shared champion pools. This is the one that's the most exciting one between both of these guys being Gragas players. So we'll have to see. Some teams in the league actually prefer putting Sejuani in the top lane. That would be something I would look at closely.
That'd be interesting if Langx would take it. Would throw a spanner in the works against EDG, but we'll look at their bottom lane, Raz. If iBoy can perform on Ezreal's second game, it'll be rejuvenating. Picks it up again, and EDG looking towards an Aatrox. Has gone around to last pick.
All right, let's see if it's locked in. They'll certainly put the spanner into the work. You look towards, perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Double bruiser solo lanes is what we're seeing here. The Aatrox and the Renekton now being swapped between Jinoo and Scout. I want to see where the Renekton ends up going. I think that's a really fun one that should just really follow the Irelia wherever she goes.
Strong source of AD damage here for EDG. Curious as to what iBoy will continue building this game. Of course, you've got Jiejie with AP Sylas. Over to RNG, 5
Last
seconds.
Pick. Let's see what we got here for RNG's comp. Yep.
Yeah, not really magic. But still, Uzi's played a hell of a lot of this.
But it's still the Gragas support.
Yeah.
Wait! The Sejuani support.
Hang on.
The Sejuani support makes sense too. No, I like it. Let's keep it like this.
Okay.
I'm a fan of Sejuani support.
I know you like it, but I'm gonna wait 25 seconds all the same. But you're right. You know, Sejuani support facilitates a similar role. And hit that level 6 mark, that bottom lane just goes in. And remember, there's only one target you have to hit because the Yuumi's on top of it.
A few melee champions within their midst. You're looking towards the Irelia and the Gragas that can really set up for the melee stun that you look towards the bottom lane to really see how the matchup ends up going.
So yeah. It's there.
There we go. There we go. We got ourselves a Sejuani support this game.
I mean, Karsa's a great Gragas too, so that's the thing about RNG these days. There is so many flexible champions, like the Karma between mid and support, Gragas now between support and jungle, and even the mid lane, top lane pool shared. So RNG showing their flawless individuality in their own way.
Look, I'm still pissed off.
Are you? I thought you were happy with it.
I want Ming playing Gragas.
That's true.
That's all I want. That's all I want.
I mean, the Sejuani's kind of exciting, right?
Nothing mechanically about Sejuani is exciting.
Hard to hit your Q.
Unless if it's the good skin. If it's the pig skin, then everything's great.
Oh, you know it will be. But what does Sivir match with that?
Look, the pig skin is interesting because it's going up against EDG. And EDG, I mean, talking about clear love, the pig farmer, I mean, they're not playing up against him, but that would be a great,
sending a message, right?
Hell yeah. Salt in the wound. Yeah. Start just meshing it in there.
Okay, so this definitely confirms that Ming supports Sejuani. Karsa back on the Gragas. Unique picks here for RNG, but can they keep the ball rolling after what was a very clean game number 1? In our match of the week, RNG looking to shut EDG out in their own arena.
Wake up, Mr. West.
Oh, we're back. Pings are down. Are we invading? Yes, we are. Keep quiet, Raz. We cannot let them know we're here. Hello, peekaboo, Jiejie on the Ming! But he starts Arctic Assault, and they're out. And if that doesn't wake you up, I don't know what will.
All right. Well, we got that going for ourselves, but no summer is actually being expended for that one. So, what does that actually even mean?
Damn Q start for the Sejuani. What will that do? Relic Shield, of course. I don't know why I'm even telling you guys that. You know that's obvious.
Okay, you need to stop.
I'm just like, wow. To be fair, this feels like a, this feels like a game we could have seen the Sejuani support or even the Volley Bear come out. So, shame it wasn't the latter in the end, but it's a bottom lane. And a bottom lane start here from EDG. A simple invade onto the blue buff, and that'll get things going.
Ooh, got some autos off. It's going to be difficult for the Renekton a lot of the times because of that, ranged auto attack difference.
Yep.
And the sustain that you'd see from the Vladimir. Xiaohu putting himself on top lane with the Vladimir. That's an interesting aspect of this. And he's also allowed the Irelia to dodge out in that lane matchup. And Irelia does enjoy the Aatrox matchup, so that's good. So far, RNG got both lanes that they wanted.
As we said in Champ Select, Irelia against Renekton is just so difficult to deal with. So it's good that this is the start here for Langx as into the mid lane, and it's going to be the Conqueror versus Conqueror here. So no electrocute Aatrox. Actually press the attack Renekton, which we've been seeing more of recently.
Yeah, I mean, it just has more damage within the lane.
Yep.
I think that press the attack on Renekton is just objectively better.
Okay.
The only times I think you'd want to have that is if up against a tank, but speaking of ganks, let's go for it.
Spell Shield was just used by Uzi. Jiejie has the flash available. It's got the duck. Oh, Uzi, that was just nice.
Yeah, real well played. He still got a lot of damage put on himself, so Uzi still...
But he lived.
Yeah. He would have lived anyways. He has flash, but
it's true.
Definitely keeps on to his summoners. That's actually really damaging for a jungler to be able to invest in a gank like that and not be able to get any sums off that. You lose your top side easily.
Yeah, showed in the bottom side. That's going to be the quick work here from Gragas onto the blue buff, and top side scuttle will be taken alongside it. So vertical jungling matched, and that means for Jinoo, the Renekton, who's only level 3, there could be danger early on and getting Xiaohu into a position.
Oh, he's going to get Crimson Rush damage off. That's we're not even get the answer. Observer didn't have time for it. For me, that's important to just see, if Jinoo is in dive range or not. He's still in a really dangerous, precarious situation, but with 2 AP champions going up against the Renekton, oftentimes I just say don't dive the Renekton.
True.
It's not very much. It's not easy at all.
I say that with a lot of champions anyway. It's just hard to get under the turret with a Renekton.
I mean, I always allow Karsa the creativity of just diving whenever possible. In fact, a lot of the times he makes what seems impossible possible. Going for dives in mid lane turret, really like level 3, alongside, you know, his mid laner in Xiaohu.
Yep.
He does that pretty frequently. In fact, that was the most impressive thing he did when he went up against FPX last split.
Yeah.
So if he sees
yeah.
something that's just like, you know, he's in lethal range of being able to get the kill, like just get the kill and be able to flash out, he'll go for the play.
I know you're talking about that Rek'Sai play against Yuumi where Karsa just had no clue how he found his way in, but he has those kind of players. You always give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, he had 2 of those, and that's what makes me, you know, excited to watch him essentially go for those moments early on in the game. He's looking towards bot lane, though, seeing what he can get down here.
And Senna did pretty decent position. Now, if iBoy dies again,
All right.
this would be rough.
Stop bullying iBoy.
It's not my fault. Karsa started it. Arcane Shift available. Going to get some damage down. Now, they haven't shown Uzi into the brush. And the damage taken does not reveal the Gragas.
Wave's pushing in. Good communication about which lanes are actually warded here. I think Ming checked in this bush on time, so now Karsa's going to be, yep, easy. Easy money.
Both of them are
Easy
there.
money.
Look, Meiko is without an AD carry Raz.
We're banking. Actually, Meiko should get out 3.
Bob, get away!
Oh.
Gets ignited! Oh, the heal, but I think he's going to die. He's ticking, and he's alive. Only just for Karsa. There's a fat man who just smited him to death. First blood in style to Karsa.
That is scarier than Mr. X walking down an aisle towards you.
As you know personally, I know Raz. Even TP expended there from Langx. And
that is just intimidating.
yeah.
Just a fat waddling
Wow,
in the fastest terrain.
Actually, that sucks.
That does.
Jinoo delayed back. He burned his TP as well, and he was already losing out lane really hard.
But take a look at this, because the setup for this one was pretty easy. My thing was, you know, I already thought that Yuumi was going to get out. I didn't think it would be this close, though. And then you see the fastest fat man of the century. Get over here.
Flash smite.
He knew cooldown was there for the W is there as well, so Yuumi wasn't going to be able to reattach towards the Ezreal.
Such perfect time. We were talking up Karsa, and we said, you know, we give him benefit of the doubt. And that's why. Even plays like that look so simple. It's just right place, right time. Ends up making the play perfectly. And first blood going over to the Gragas jungle and the bottom lane in a comfortable state where Meiko and iBoy, well, they're not behind, but there is pressure added to their lane.
He walks out of the bush just as it gets unwarded.
Yeah.
So you know which matchup, the dual lane, that I feel like is the most tumultuous, that I hate the most? Well, I don't hate it. I think that's a strong word.
In this matchup, right?
Well, I mean just in general, but it is in this matchup. It's the Ezreal and Yuumi.
Yeah.
Ezreal and Yuumi, I mean, they don't have the shove into most lanes. That's just the case whenever it's an Ezreal versus X champion.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they don't have much added protection. We're talking about just really the speed boost that Yuumi could provide for you and the E, the blink that Ezreal has. So they are at most at risk in terms of being dove. We've talked about this consistently. Jinoo's going to be fine.
Yeah, actually, better trade here for Xiaohu. Now, there is sustain on the Renekton, but Hema Plague was burnt while there is Dominus still available for the Renekton.
I mean, oh. Is it going to be
great Sejuani pull timing. Jinoo going to run back in, goes back in. Now, Crimson Rush available, even with Dominus. I think Xiaohu wins out.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is as bad as tanks throwing stuff at each other.
Yeah.
Because they know they're on weak side, so Vladimir can use his ultimate to sustain back up and to wave clear a little bit more. But Jinoo can now actually zone him away from turret alone.
Yeah, take it back, kill
Wait a second.
Slice that dies. Solo kill. Jinoo shows he's the better Renekton.
Wow, I lied. I just outright lied to you folks. Not only did he get the solo kill, I didn't think that was going to be possible, but he just completely, well, not completely. I don't think that entire wave is denied because he's going to be able to TP right back, but that's a really tough spot for Xiaohu to be in.
And it puts Jinoo in such a better position considering moments ago. Remember, he TP'd to the bottom lane, got nothing, delayed his back, and was so far behind in CS. So this puts Jinoo right back into the game.
Yeah, I mean, you need to see this from Jinoo. This stage in the series where RNG was able to blow your team out.
Yeah.
And now you're coming into this game, and not only last game where he didn't really have much of an answer.
Oh, no. Oh. Dodged away. Jiejie steals it and hits the goalpost.
All right, well, he made the attempt. That's all that counts. That's all
right.
that matters. But remember, Jinoo in the last game was the Camille that really couldn't do anything last game.
Yeah.
So the pent-up frustration that you're seeing, and he's pushed him out of the lane. This is why a lot of people will be perplexed by the decision by Xiaohu, who has teleport, a cannon minion wave pushing in. You can easily go back to base and teleport right back in. He was so greedy he didn't want to expend teleport, even though it was never going to be a teleport advantage for Jinoo.
Yeah.
So he made his choices, and he died for it.
Had Crimson Rush, thought he could get near the wave and just get the sustain off, but that'll cost him, and that'll hurt his lane from here on.
Yeah, the reality was Jinoo didn't have TP as well. You can always go back to base, come back in, and you would be in a fine position.
Now a level down.
Yeah, so that's how it cookie crumbles.
And Jinoo has pressure coming up towards the top side, and the Vladimir can be dove, because all you need is the Renekton or the Sylas to land something, and the Vladimir does not move, so up goes Jiejie. Over a ward, he'll be spotted out, but still, Xiaohu might just have to leave this lane.
Take a look at the bot side. Both plays are happening at the same time. Figure out which one's going to be more successful.
Who's going to be quicker? Pushing him off the turret while the bot lane turns into a dive. That's the final chapter, as Meiko can't land the final one. Karsa down bot. Turret plating begins. Xiaohu able to fave off the top lane dive.
Remember, Karsa has both Flash and Cask. Ezreal has to play this one ultra respectively, because even in the positioning movement that Karsa was making, he was looking for a turn back Flash Cask.
Yeah.
Take a look at this, though. This is just pain.
Able to return back to lane. Xiaohu's still here as well. That's a good trade, but let's see what's getting traded, because it's now an objective game where Ming starts this one up. No, he is not the jungler. Karsa will be coming over shortly, and Infernal first.
This is far better for RNG, because, I mean, Xiaohu got Crimson Rush too, and a better trade on a Jinoo on the back end of that one, so there's no possibility for EDG to get anything top lane on that one. So they recognize, okay, let's get Rift Herald, while RNG not only completely denied bot lane wave to iBoy and Meiko, but they got red buff and dragon.
Yeah.
Infernal dragon.
And that deep vision. That's going to be so important coming later. So
yeah, I mean, if they try to look for a dive up bottom lane, I agree.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what we could be looking for. It's potential pressure.
It's going to be cleared out for now, though, so I'll take that back. But Kings were going down towards the top side, and Jiejie is now hovering over this position. But it's simply just to clear out the rest of his jungle. And look at the Sejuani. Ming now on the roam has the Iron Boots of Lucidity, so of course, going to get those ults a little bit quicker, and has one ready to throw.
All right, see what we end up getting.
New level 9 though, Raz. Is this a 1v2 Renekton yet? I would say no.
Yeah, definitely not. There's a lot of outplayability here by Renekton, sure, but the Vladimir has everything going for himself, including Pool. I don't think I don't think Xiaohu ends up playing it that poorly. So, and the wave is actually not even necessarily pushing away from Renekton.
Oh no.
Okay.
He just used Slice and Dice though. Hema Plague, Jinoo into the Dominus, but Karsa's coming in. Fat Man right on top. That
was hilarious. I was like, my thing was, I don't think the gank happens because the lane's not even pushing away from Jinoo. So it's really just banking on that Jinoo goes all in, and it ended up happening.
That's rough. EDG want to play in the bottom lane. That's a flash, or rather arcade shift forward. Uzi does it again. He's got some fancy feet.
Real close. I mean, both those players ended up dodging out of that one, so great job to them. You can see EDG trying to get some turret platings to their boy. iBoy's been put in a bad position for far too long, and now he's going to get some gold for himself. Full turret plating gold.
Yeah, gets him something. 320 over to the Ezreal. Unable to get any more, though, so RNG still holding out the turret, and that's the main thing.
He's going to be able to get this one.
Okay.
Let's see if he does it.
He should, but this time he'll share it, of course, with the Yuumi on top.
The dirty Yuumi.
Yeah, I know.
Sharing us that goal.
We'll have a look at this one again.
So this is going to be fun, right? He goes all in, and of course, that's just the point at which Gragas comes in for a gank. I mean, it's not too special, but it really was just targeted by the fact that he wanted to get some skirmish out there.
Stole the Glacial Prison. That's rough. Jiejie going to be using that one, and an even better one from Ming, you could say. Karsa gets out with his life, and even with the blue buff, too.
All right. Good steal on that one. I guess a steal on his own objective.
Of your own
blue buff.
Yep.
What can you do?
But considering at the start of the game, he was vertical jungling. He stole away Jiejie's, so to secure his own blue buff once again, seemed a bit of a task as the Rift Herald was dropped, and that's why the pressure mounted up for EDG.
Comes down to a point where you ask myself the question, who do I like at this stage of the game? Liking RNG, not because they have a very slim gold advantage, but I think their composition does do quite well later on where they want to be able to place themselves on side lane. I mean, Vladimir, if I'm looking across the side of Scout and Jinoo, he's not going to be answered to very well. Like, Vladimir should be able to have the damage in most matchups. And then I look towards the Irelia, and certainly that's going to be the case. In fact, he's going to be firing up. He already has 2 of his 3 components for Trinity Force. I want to see how close he is right now. So we're at a great position if you're RNG, and it's going to have to be on... I would say it's going to have to be on Jiejie more often.
Yep.
Jiejie and Jinoo to be able to find some great plays topside. That's why Jiejie is trying to be a lot more aggressive, contesting Karsa on both buffs.
Yep, happens again, but Karsa just takes it back. That's an explosive cast, but that sends him away. Now for Langx, in the middle of 1, maybe 2 members as soon as they find out Jinoo, but Jinoo's not in yet. Vanguard's there to flash in. Here comes the Renekton, Wow. but crikey, RNG are there first, and Jinoo takes a big whop of the boomerang. Now into the middle of the frame. I don't think you want to do that. EDG donate 3, and RNG say, thank you very much.
Purely outplayed.
Yeah.
That was the second attempt Jiejie made, and he just got absolutely swatted back. And on top of that, at the end, just to be able to see like salt on the wound, Gragas body bop, and then he goes gold, so he just completely denies, the work from the opposite end. So, I mean, Scout and Jinoo both came to help out in Jiejie, but
And they were quick.
they were very fast. Just unfortunate to be able to see how it ended up going. So, not only do you lose out on the red buff, but take a look at the cast too. Gets blown out, and it was his choice to come back into the fight alongside Ming. He joins his team, and the only focus is don't get the reset for Scout. So he flashes away, keeps himself alive, assures the kill on towards the Aatrox, and then from that point it's easy. As long as the Aatrox doesn't get rolling, and that one's just funny. I mean, he played that one out incredibly smart under the circumstances.
I just love how Jiejie saw Xiaohu coming in and went, all right, there's 5 people here, I'm not getting out. May as well take Karsa with him, but even denying that, are you looking at turret plating? Yes, good for EDG, but after that fight, no. Langx getting caught out, flushes away. EDG looking for something again, and I said, turret plating gold was good, but they're still behind, and they're wanting that pick.
Ooh, and you can already see how unsurprising their engage can be, right? If it's not Jiejie stealing the cast or the Sejuani ultimate, if you walk into a bush, it's Yuumi saying, all right, well, stick there for about 3 waves of my ultimate.
Yeah.
Don't be dashing away. Don't try and gang up on us either.
iBoy actually gets Glacial Prison. That's a mistake. Vanguard's edge in the background that's been sold. Now EDG find one, but Scout getting the reset. Can he find more? They get another of EDG, and Uzi starts throwing some boomerangs again, but Xiaohu healing up like it's no one's business. Meiko can't sit on a reviving Aatrox. Uzi gets a triple. Make that quadra kill. RNG love to fight, and EDG don't know when to stop.
It's how demoralizing it can get. Vladimir into the back line, multiple Crimson rushes, and he wasn't even the point of focus for EDG. At this point, you have no damage to back you up. I think the crucial error of this game happened around the red buff, and they cannot recover.
That's right. Keep trying to throw fuel into the fire, but you know the result. Mountain, double Infernal coming up, and iBoy was very aggressive here.
This is just not a good series from iBoy. Simple as that. Gets blown up after Yuumi didn't even have her ultimate. Was blown on the prior play, so what are you really even looking for? What pick, what poke can you even attain? So a lot of that, sure, they weren't even going to have the team fight anyways. But you cannot afford to lose your AD carry like that.
Yeah, Karsa's happy about that. Why shouldn't you be? He's had a magnificent series, and that's been our pure story for this one coming in, how Karsa is that best jungler, and he's been playing these fights damn well. Yeah,
that's just the story of that last fight.
And that's true.
You're right about Karsa. Karsa has been performing exceptionally. He should feel happy. And a lot of that is happening on the head of iBoy. So for every heroic story, there is a heroic failure.
Unfortunate for iBoy. He picks up the Ezreal 2nd game in a row, and for a lot of pro players, I know it can be demoralizing to pick up the same champion that you were blasted with in one game and then try and recover in the next.
Yeah, 100%. And also, to go into the back, recognize that it isn't an issue with the champion that you had. It was more so about play and coming right back, and just hoping that you can perform under the circumstances, especially up against tough competition. It's tough, but you got to be able to do it, especially under, the pressure that's on top of you. Right now, RNG has a huge lead for themselves, 4K gold lead, and they've been really on point around vision. You just have to assume that Karsa's just sitting there.
Predator sign will come up. I mean, Jinoo has the understanding, and Plays it safe, but that's when the turret goes down. Langx going to get another turret across the board. And you said what comp you favored. Well, this is going to get worse. It's an Irelia with Trinity Force. Yeah. It's a Sivir. It's a Vladimir. There is no point from here where it feels like EDG completely outscale.
Yep, definitely. Before QK, before the quadra kill, I favored RNG's comp.
Yep.
And now he has 6 kills. The government's out to get him. The bounty on his head is 700 gold.
Infinity Edge, Essence Reaver there too.
He's 201, I'm sorry, at 19 minutes into the game.
Do you know that Uzi is averaging 10.6 CS a minute
so
far in summer? Again.
That's what happens.
Again.
He's CSing perfectly. He's taking your jungle creeps. It's what happens when you know, have that respect on your name. And so this is the situation you're currently in if you're EDG. Because much like the last game, you're at a gold deficit and you're outright in your backcourt and your damage is just not there. In fact, he has to worry about so much. He has QSS for the Sejuani.
Oh, worry about this EDG. The Boomerang Blade comes out. Jiejie gets auto-attacked once, twice. Here goes Meiko. He got crit for days. Another double, 8-0 and 3. RNG, that Baron, you know what? Pet it. It's yours.
Yeah, I mean, they're just face checking bushes at this point. The worst timing around the worst objective. You have to give this one away, Jinoo.
Xiaohu walking into the rest of EDG. He's tanky enough. He drops an Ema Flake. He gets phase rush, and look at that. Half health. Oh my god. RNG are walking over EDG in this series with yet another Baron.
RNG's composition are essentially like, if we're just talking about the amalgamation of Season 8 and Season 9 champion memes, a lot of them, like the Sivir,
fit in, don't they?
Sivir 500 CS kind of meme that happens. Irelia, I mean, that one's timeless. Vladimir is certainly a recent one with how well he's able to just stomp out in game. Yeah. Uzi, watch out!
He's walking in blind. Now, that is a mistake. So, everything good we're saying, we'll just for a moment take that back. But you need to do that 10 more times.
Yes.
So
get out there and keep checking bushes and keep checking corners. Guys, I found them.
Yeah, confident with Langx down the bottom lane. He could walk in and get some vision towards that red, even maybe take it away. So EDG with a small win. Small is what it will be for now. Infernal coming up in 40 seconds, so Uzi will definitely be alive for that one.
This has definitely been the game of face checking.
Yeah.
I've never seen more face checks than I have between mostly EDG, and this is one of them. This is one of many face checks. All right, guys, let's continue to check vision. Oh, this is one of the... Look, because Yuumi had the right idea. Send in her own Q just in case. The problem was in the host body. The host body was, oh, we're checking all face checks. This is a face check news report. We need more replays, just so you know, just don't check corners. This isn't an FPS.
Yeah.
You know, when your teammate tells you to check corners, they mean with a ward.
That's true. I'm sure we'll get more. It's beaten the game of it, you said. And RNG now towards the brush. So it's watered by both for once. Ming doesn't need to face check that one. Walks away from Scout, who has a Yuumi on top. It's the Infernal Dragon that is now being contested that EDG won in.
I apologize, EDG. You're not getting this Infernal.
You know.
We'll have to see if their pick ends up coming through. Here comes Jinoo, though, at a pretty good flank position.
Yeah, Glacial Prison available, but Uzi clears out the way. There's a better teleport. They send the Vanguard's Edge in with the final chapter. They find Karsa first. This could be the turnaround for EDG, but look at RNG. Look at the ult from Xiaohu. Falls on in. It's blood for dinner. You know what? My fangs are 6 inches wide, 6 inches long, and seep into the bodies of EDG.
I have no idea how iBoy survived all of that, because that was a deep teleport, found its way into the back. Still got a few kills, and it's going to be RNG taking down this inhibitor.
Maybe an even trade, but Uzi's alive and is a hard-hitting boomerang thrower. That's all yours. Inhibitor coming up next, and iBoy walks forward, but he should not. Open map, open base. RNG have it all.
Want to see what RNG ends up going towards, because the Infernal Dragon's up. I think they should get that one before they base. I don't know about this one, Scout. He's trying to get anything he has. Literally anything.
2-item Aatrox. If he gets a reset, you see the potential, but he's backing away. That's it. Jet plane out of there. He won't be coming back again. And let's have a look, Raz, because at least EDG got something.
Yes. Because it did start out as that, 4v5 that we were looking for. They got the pick they wanted in a cordon off area. Being able to get the kill on Karsa, you would think that'd be the starting point. But right, you see that Usain Bolt of a Vladimir right into the back line. Somehow iBoy survives this one. I mean, that's ridiculous.
He
right?
shouldn't have. It could have been so much worse.
Yes. Somehow Yuumi escapes all of that because she doesn't get touched by any of those abilities.
Yep.
So that's fun.
I mean, Usain Bolt as well. He had home guards, but also I noticed a Spellbinder first here for the Vladimir. Rabadon's coming second, or maybe Protobelt. We've got all 4 components there for both items.
I've seen this build a few times. There's a difference between, going towards the CDR early on, which is like, Protobelt and everything, but he already has like the CDR on the back end of it.
Oh, there's the Rabadons.
Right off of it. So like he has so much burst damage, and he has the 20% off the back end, and in his rune page should be able to get towards 30, 35, depending on what he ends up getting if he's in Inspiration Secondary. Actually, not sure about that. But the CDR, I mean, he's not too concerned about that. But the damage, you already saw that in the last fight.
Yeah. Gets worse from here. EDG down 8,000 gold. The double Infernal eventually went over to RNG. They've got a double Mountain coming up. So when I say it gets worse from here, it doubles down. It multiplies. Uzi, face checking.
Nah, it's not a face checking. You have friends near you.
Okay.
You have friends, baby.
Oh, double face check. Who cares at this point? RNG going on to Scout. Is he going to find the reset? The biggest question, yes. Karsa dies yet again with the Vanguard's edge into the back line, Langx onto the Yuumi. It's Jiejie who dies first, though. Yuumi survives for now, disappears on top of Scout, who gets out of the world.
Wait a minute.
Jinoo's coming in to spin, to win. He gets locked down. The turnaround. RNG do it again. iBoy walks forward, trying to get the outplay, but it's not his series. It's not his game. Look at Meiko, the cat alone, left out of the bag as RNG secure the ace.
Yeah, throw the thumbs out. And the thumbs up. That was a really well done play from RNG. EDG really close to being able to pick up that fight. Few autos off of Ezreal before he could actually, take the win on it.
Yep.
But it's been RNG's day.
Sun's out, guns out here for RNG. Their day, their night. It looks like this could be their split. Their road to playoffs against EDG. A big 2-0 win.
The matchup we were looking for starts with this man, Uzi. And surprisingly, I mean, it ended on iBoy's deathbed. I didn't see that one happening.
No way.
The strategy RNG had and the strategy EDG had coming into this one clashed incredibly poorly for EDG. The Ezreal Yuumi lane that came through, ultimately he was always behind in pace. I would like to have seen something different, but maybe that's the lesson they learned. The only time they face coming forward is potentially playoffs.
Yeah, which we're heading towards, as I said, but this RNG, this form, with hyped up Langx, with Xiaohu playing at some of his best League of Legends as well. This is the RNG that we start investing in once again. For good reason, because EDG are not a pushover team. They have been playing exceptionally here in summer as well, but RNG just made them look that weak in that short time in the series.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of reasonable questions to RNG as a team. Had they come back? When they lost to FPX, the undefeated team, it's like, okay, well, let's take a second look at their strength of schedule. They've been beating a lot of these weaker teams that haven't been making playoffs. But now they've been starting to pick up meaningful victories. They still have Invictus Gaming to look forward to. And they're currently 6-1.
Yeah.
They've only lost that one series versus FPX, and so they're on a great trajectory right now.
And remember, for RNG, things do get nicer from here. It's V5. LNG is their big matchup sooning. And these are winnable matchups for RNG, matchups you'd expect them to take, and they're on the tear.
You see matchups like these, them going up against EDG, we expect it to be so much closer. We expect the jungle matchup to be dictating it, and it was. It was dictated by the jungle
Really
matchup.
did, yeah.
Karsa dictated this series. It felt like Karsa and Ming, I say as a combination, as a tag team duo, showcased what was very well developed vision control teamwork that wasn't necessarily there from Meiko, and more importantly, Jiejie. The second game when we saw the invade into blue buff didn't turn into anything. Invade into red buff, which was an extreme bait from Karsa.
Yeah.
He plays it out incredibly well by baiting the Aatrox forward, gets the kill on that one. I think Karsa just showcased great veteranship in the matchup.
I was going to say, I mean, in comparison to the matchup, Jiejie is still very fresh in the LPL, while Karsa is the veteran we know to expect.
Yes, and so, I mean, Karsa comes out with a big win, I feel. Last game was a MVP towards Meiko for good reason. But you'd say just simply because of how he played that Yuumi game that the co-MVP was Karsa on that.
Of course.
And then you saw, guess who got the quadra kill in this game? Who's likely going to get the MVP once you give them some time to make their votes and all that? It is easy.
I like that, you talk about Ming in game 1 with the Yuumi. Game 2, Sejuani. I mean, that was great.
Yes.
I love the synergy down in that bottom lane. I just love that the pick made so much sense when you saw how RNG fought.
Yes, and they still have some damn good players. And if we're just talking about, like, among support players, I believe Meiko is, not Meiko. Ming is, I would say one of the best supports in the world. We just need to come back into the limelight, go into an international event, because I'm not comfortable calling him the best support just yet until he goes up against the likes of, Mickey X. And I'd say Core JJ, but I think, we'll have to see how Team Liquid looks in that event. They've been picking up good wins versus G2 in the Rift Rivals event, so that's going to be fun. If the international event, we'll see RNG can join that. That's the big question, because Karsa and Ming cannot question them as players.
At least in the LPL, we can confirm that they are the strongest.
Yes, strongest junglers, strongest support.
Of course.
And if we're talking about AD carries, he just showed you that he was stronger than iBoy, strongest AD carry. So it's going to be really fun to just be able to see this team if they can perform consistently, especially going into playoffs.
Let's quickly touch on Xiaohu. I want to make a mention of Langx as well, how Langx has constantly played either weak side or can transition to the mid lane as we saw in that game. But Xiaohu on the Vladimir played, got bullied in lane at one point, made the recovery, and the road was paved.
Yes. I mean, that's like, if you pick up a Vladimir, you're always going to have tough times. I think he had a much better time because he was put in that Renekton lane. Yeah. So that was great for the overarching strategy that Coach Steak put them in. And then, you're right, found himself great teleport flank near the end of the game to be able to just outright stomp the enemy team on his ultimate. Great job. Great job, ultimately, I think, across the board from coaching staff to the players themselves. I don't think there was a weak link here. And that ultimately happens whenever you have stomping situations like this. And I think if you look towards EDG, they had a pretty poor performance. Scout performed well, as he usually does. So a lot of great, shout out to Scout there. I think Jinoo performed well when he was set up to succeed, and I think that's something that we need to be talking about, is drafting for EDG has been a question mark. Spring playoffs, they just had a bad draft consistently all 3 games going up against Sino Dragons. And now we're seeing it once again, where they're not allowing their lanes to succeed based off that and allowing a thread of risk, right? Risk of, if the jungler doesn't have a hand in these lanes, well, they're just going to be losing out passively.
What happens, right? And we saw that with iBoy, and we saw it with Meiko, that they consistently had a bad game, both 1 and 2. EDG lost that bottom lane.
So, and I'm just going to put specifics on it. The game 1 Camille Karthus duo, when they knew that the Camille would be losing out in both matchups, they essentially picked themselves into either. That was not a good strategy, even if it succeeded. Not a lot of teams would go back to that kind of style again. That just comes down to the player having a lot of faith in his ability to be able to play out that matchup. So,
also more like a BLG style, right? That we talked about, that Clement and I talked about, where passiveness in lanes, where you're hoping to hit that late game bridge. Not always successful, especially in the LPL.
Yeah, but at least with BLG, and I'll give them some good credit in the fact that Kuro and Meteor will always be that bridge for them.
Fair enough.
That they're a team that actually, which Coach Sim will get them to that point because their draft makes a lot of sense. The only thing that never makes sense at times is ADD. ADD has his own champion pool, and you just got to let him play what he wants to play.
Fair enough.
Sejuani top, Mundo top blind, why not, right?
Yeah.
But in this setting, EDG and RNG, we finally got the resolution to it. Yeah. And it was RNG, massive thumbs up.
Yeah, and Uzi, double thumbs up, because Raz, you're right, he gets a quadra, he gets MVP, but most of all, played the team fights exceptionally well and had some highlight moments in this series as a total. 40%. Where is the CS a minute? I can tell you right now, it was up there again.
Yeah, he played exceptionally this game. I mean, this was definitely a stat booster performance.
Yeah.
And I think that coming into this one, I said that I think Karsa played this one out well. Everyone did, but this man, once again, played out. And also that spell shield is something you always have respect for.
Right? Yeah.
That was in game 1. This one was fun, too. This one was largely a Karsa replay. The fact that he was able to play it out that well. So, exceptional performance to be able to cancel out Jiejie's invade. and the aggression that came alongside with it.
This is a quadra kill here, though.
And so this is when you focus on, Langx coming into the back. Full invade there, yeah. I just want to see how he ends up getting it. Full front to back on this one.
Well, maybe not the quadra kill. Maybe I lied.
No, you got it here.
Or did I not lie? I did not lie.
You got to have faith in yourself.
I just cast this. I should have memory of this.
But that's a quadra kill. I mean, it wasn't the most spectacular quadra kill, but it happened. And a lot of that came through just playing well alongside your front line. And the front line, I think, had standout performances. And this was a nice Xiaohu replay coming into the flank. A good setup from RNG at a great position here. And you like to be able to see team fights happen like this.
Yeah.
They were able to successfully set up these team fights 2 games in a row in a consistent nature. They were always on the map when an objective was coming up a minute beforehand, so the Dragons were always tended to properly.
We talked about the back timings and how important they were for RNG.
Yeah, I would mention that I would like to see, Rumble thrown up to the top side and he literally do it on that wave. I think this team has a very clear mind of where they want to be able to send their forces, of what their ultimate objective is. They still need some of that from EDG. So at the end of the day for EDG, the younger members, the fresher minds of Jiejie, I wouldn't say Jinoo, but certainly Jiejie.
Of course.
He needs some time on that one. I think that ultimately, if you're vocal shot caller Meiko working alongside Jiejie, needs to be better communication so they know which fight is worthwhile.
That's true. EDG go down 0-2. RNG rising to the form, and a lot of questions will be whether they can do it again like 2018 spring, but only time will tell. We're going to look at standings, right? Because that's what we do.
Let's go. Let's take it out.
That is a hype top 3, top 5, top 6, top 8 so far.
I'll just focus on the top 3.
Yeah, go for it, Raz.
FPX, TOP, and now RNG. We were talking about the whole discussion of who's going to etch themselves as the top 3 after that series, and it turns out to be RNG. Sure, they tie with the rest of them. You're talking about LNG, IG, but they're the team that has played the least. 6-1. Really, they need 2 more matches to be able to match up with how often LNG and IG's played, and it's going to come through. They've been right now on top of the game.
And teams like IG as well. There's many more games to play here. We're only towards the end of week 7, and remember, coming up tomorrow, we're a 5-day working week now, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to start cementing more of that. DMO and JDG, see if they can return. And another, Raz, can I call it another match of the week?
Go for it.
Thank you. Another match of the week in FPX and IG. That is going to pop.
It was a tough one being able to decide between both of them. IG, the world champions, FPX, the undefeated. We've had these stories of teams that, have gotten to the end and, undefeated. A lot of that was EDG way back.
Yep.
IG in 2018 for both splits. Nearly perfect match scores until RNG happened. Yep. And now FPX are making that run in IG. Right now they're on that path. They want to be able to take them down. I will say IG right now are not looking good. Yep. Some of the players, I'd say rookie, especially when they went up against VG Gaming, got solo killed by Jay. Those are issues in which they need to have that resolved. I have faith that they'll resolve it. Yep. They just need more time onto the field. But you never know when it's going to come out, when the demons of IG are going to be able to fight back. And I think that series is going to be it. Hopefully we find out against FPX. That's coming up tomorrow. A big thank you once again to our production team and to Raz for dealing with me as always. It is going to be goodbye for now, but not forever. We'll see you tomorrow night for the LPL.